Yo, what is up, guys? It's CJ Trades back with another video. And today I'm going to be talking about the Boston Red Sox, and more specifically, Chaim Bloom and his master plan, and if the Red Sox are real playoff contenders for this year. And the first thing to talk about is the lineup. And it says my 2023 projected lineup, but obviously it's after opening day. Injuries are happening, people are getting switched around. This is what I think the total lineup should be, including injuries. So, the first thing to mention is Trevor Story and Adalberto Mondesi, both middle infielders. Both can play either spot, but Story's probably better second baseman now with his arm injuries, and Mondesi is fast at shortstop. And they're both injured, but when they do both come back, which they will this season, it will probably be Yu Chang, and it could be an outfielder going down. But if you look at the cuts list at the bottom, there's Jorge Alfaro and Bobby Dahlbeck. And the first part to mention is Jorge Alfaro, who was great offensively for the Padres, great for us in spring training, but he had to compete with Reese McGuire and Connor Wong. And Connor Wong came here in the Mookie Betts trade, but he's been a great prospect. He didn't batting average wise, not amazing the last year, but he showed a lot of promise, hit a few bombs. And Reese McGuire we got in a trade. I think it was for Diekman maybe from the White Sox or maybe Blue Jays trade, but he's been alright, had a good few hitting moments. Had that almost 3-run home run last week, but got it called back due to it being a foul ball. But these guys did win out the job for Alfaro, and his defense was just not there. And then Bobby Dahlbeck, my guy, Bobby. He did, I'll never forget, 2 years ago, end of the season, him and Bryce Harper were competing for MVP. But Bobby Dahlbeck, obvious issues at the plate with discipline, with swinging, with strike zone issues. But he is a power hitter, and everyone can see that. And he has been getting bounced around different positions, but he's a first baseman. In Worcester, he'll probably be more of a wherever they need third base. He can play shortstop even. And I do hope to see Bobby back up, but that might have been his last chance to make the team right there. Unfortunately, Yu Chang in the World Baseball Classic was amazing. He won MVP for his group, and that hitting really did the job over Bobby. So Bobby probably won't be back up. I do love the guy, but he has to work on his issues in Worcester, and hopefully we can see him back here one day hitting bombs at Fenway. And now I'll be starting with the bench, but Rob Refsnyder, who's been amazing for us. Last year, he was one of the better contact hitters on the team. A lot of power too, but okay defensively, but still does his job every game. So Refsnyder, huge addition, definitely can fill in the gaps in the outfield. And same thing with Tapia, who I was surprised when they signed him and when he made the team. But I'm a believer in him. He said he loved the Red Sox atmosphere and the fans, and he's had a great start for us so far. Great plus hitting. He's fast in the outfield, so we can definitely use him. And now on the far left here, you can see my projected lineup, obviously different than the real one used currently. And also, as a note, Adam Duvall did get hurt today, and it's the same wrist, which he hurt season-ending injury last season, or I guess 2 years ago now. So I hope Duvall is okay from that because he has been raking the start of this year. And so starting at the top, Yoshida, he's been even better than people expected. His contact hitting, amazing. His discipline, amazing. His power hitting is amazing. I think he's perfect for a leadoff hitter. He's fast enough on the bases too, already has a stolen bag. But there's a few guys that could be at first. And then second, I do have Tristan Casas. And our best prospect, he's been amazing. He's replaced Bobby Dahlbeck, unfortunately for Bobby, but Tristan looks really good. A great power hitter. His fielding's been all right. His running is the only bad part, but who really needs that in a corner infielder? And then going right to another corner infielder, Devers. He's going to have an even better season this year. Xander's gone. Devers has to take over as a star of the team, and he should have a really powerful offensive season with our improved lineup. And then moving down, Justin Turner, the new addition. Already got his face beat in, but he'll be good. He can play third. He can DH. He'll be a good power hitter. And then Verdugo. And so this is where we get to the outfield. It's a little tricky. We have Verdugo, Duvall, Refsnyder, Tapia. So many guys here. They can play different spots in the outfield. But Verdugo right, I would have Yoshida in left over Verdugo. And then Duvall in center as it stands without injuries. But Verdugo's hitting, underestimated. People tend to hate on him because he was a return for the Mookie trade, and he's no Mookie, but his hitting's been amazing, and we can't underestimate that. And then Kike has been one of the stars of the team at shortstop. But in addition to this, Kike with Duvall's injury, Kike would move to center field, and we might see Yu Chang slot into the second base spot or shortstop. So that will be interesting to see how that plays out soon. And then Christian Arroyo has been a great filler guy. He's great contact numbers. He's been doing his job well. And the offense this season has been amazing so far. Obviously, it's early in the year. We've had some bad games, some good games with the sweep against the Tigers now. But offensively, this is the first team in many years scoring 8+ runs in the entire opening series. The offense has been amazing, which most people predicted. And then there's just so much talent on the team with deciding who's leadoff and who's where in the rotation. But a key point to me is Kike, especially if Duvall is out for a long time. I hope he's not, but he could be. In Kike's career as a Dodger, he's always been a utility guy. And in 9 years, he played 320 games in center field, 228 at second base, 99 in left, and 91 at shortstop. So he's not always just been a shortstop. He can play anywhere in that middle of the field. And I think we could easily see him slot right back in center field. His hitting has kind of struggled, but from that 2021 playoffs, him and Schwarber went crazy. So I think we can look for a big season for him. And then next up is going to be our pitching. And there's been so much roster turnover in this team as a whole. But last year, Evaldi and Waka were two of our best starters, both of them gone. Even on our hitting side, Xander, JD Martinez gone. So we need a bounce back year. 2021 was a good year. And last year was a little disappointing, to say the least. But we need a bounce back year. Injuries are going to be a huge role, but pitching is the most important part. Our offense has already been great this year, and I have no doubts about that. But our bullpen assembled is not great. A lot of people questioned Bloom. But as you can see on the left here, the rotation, I have Sale above Kluber, but Kluber did get the opening day start. But Sale, Corey Kluber, Tanner Houck, Pivetta, and Crawford. I'm okay with that rotation. It's not amazing, but it's definitely not bad and could be worse. Chris Sale's been amazing, the Slenderman. I think hopefully he can stay healthy. If he grips the baseball too hard, his bones in his hand snap in 100 different places. So he needs to stay healthy. Corey Kluber's old, kind of like that Rich Hill type of guy on the team, like almost like a glue guy. He's always going to be there as a starter. He's never going to be amazing. Hopefully won't have too many blow-ups, but not a huge fan of Kluber. Tanner Houck, I do love Tanner Houck. He's still young. He had that one amazing debut season, and has still been good every single year. So I think Tanner Houck will be vital. I think the most important pitchers this year are going to be Houck, Schreiber, Kelly Jansen, and Garrett Whitlock. And obviously, Garrett, you can see on the right side, Paxton is injured. I don't think he's good enough for our rotation. Whitlock and Bayo, are both injured starters, and I think both of them should slide in over Crawford, and maybe even over Pivetta, maybe Kluber. We're paying Kluber too much to bench him, but Whitlock and Bayo, I love both of them. Maybe move Whitlock back to the bullpen where his numbers were better. But our rotation will be important. Winkowski and Crawford kind of fought for that fifth spot. Crawford has looked way better, but Winkowski can still be a good long relief guy. And Pavetta's been good. I went to one playoff game last year. He went crazy, pitched almost the entire game, was yelling on the mound against the Rays. 2021, I keep forgetting how much we sucked last year. But we're getting some guys from Worcester, like Ort, like Kelly. These guys are really helping out, but so many new additions. Like Joely Rodriguez, a good lefty. Kenley Jansen should be a closer that we needed last year. Last year, a major problem with the bullpen was the lack of ability to close out games. Kenley Jansen, even though with the shorter pitching clock, he should help with that very well. And I have Schreiber as the setup man. I think he can still do an amazing job. And this bullpen is kind of reminiscent of a Chaim Bloom bullpen where Bleer's kind of always that guy with the good balls in play are always where you want him, and his numbers aren't amazing, but he gets you out of the innings pretty much. Chris Martin's whatever. Zach Kelly up from Worcester should be exciting, and Ort has been surprisingly good the start of the year. Ryan Brazier, I will not mention anything else about him. I want him off the team now. I wanted him off the team last year and the year before. I don't care what his numbers say. I want Ryan Brazier off the team. And now into the real point of this video. Are the Red Sox assembled to be a playoff team? Is their process worth it? And how can it affect the future of the team? In the past, under Theo Epstein, under Dombrowski, all these guys I grew up with in the front office for the Sox had a similar strategy, pretty much the Dombrowski method, where You can see in the graph here, the Red Sox, besides the Mariners, have been the most turbulent team in the last 20 years. You can see 04, the curse was broken. We beat the Yankees. We win the World Series after that. And the curse is broken. The Red Sox are champs again. And then the X's denote years where we missed the playoffs entirely. And then obviously the World Series is when we won the World Series. But that's a lot of missing playoffs in between the World Series success. 07, great year. 2013, great year against the Cardinals. 2018, our best season in almost history with 108 wins. But if you look after that, 2019, 2020, 2022, playoff misses. And under Dombrowski, until 2019, you can see these terrible seasons. And even between these in the stopgap seasons, where Dombrowski's method of paying your big stars, filling out the contracts, going over the luxury cap, over the cap, and then getting rid of the farm, selling the farm. Dombrowski's Sox were notable for how absolutely terrible our farms and pipelines were. And here's another graph, credit to 538 for this one, but this shows the winning percentage for the Red Sox 2011 to 2021, and you can see how there is World Series wins, and you have to credit Dombrowski. At the end of the day, you want to win a World Series. You don't want to make it under the cap. You don't want a good pipeline. You want to win the entire thing. So there is something to say about that, but the bad seasons that fill in between, there's a lot of teams that build similar to this, and a lot of teams that we're going to see, like the Tampa Bay Rays, who do the complete opposite. So the real point of this video is documenting, is Dombrowski, was his way worth it? And Chaim Bloom, his successor, is Chaim Bloom ball the new way to go for the Red Sox? Or are we just going to become, I like to call it the Back Bay Rays, Tampa Bay Red Sox, a lot of combos you can go with there, but we don't want to become the Rays because we're a bigger market team. A lot of fans that, I don't know about you, all my friends, all the fans I know, we want to win the whole thing. We don't want to have a good pipeline. So it's going to be interesting if Chaim can stay with the fans, keep them in their favor, and if he can win while using his own system. And so the real thesis of this video is, how long will it take Chaim to overthrow Dombrowski's regime of selling the farm, ruining the pipeline for short-term playoff success and chances at a ring? And will Chaim be successful with it in the new system, where I like to call it Bloom Ball? And Bloom Ball is outlined by 3 different variables, the first of which is wins. This is regular season wins and then postseason success, meaning winning the World Series, which at the end of the day is your end goal as a baseball franchise. And so Dombrowski, he always would get a lot more regular season wins, which would help him get to the playoffs, which helps you win a World Series, where Bloom sometimes would prioritize a better pipeline, better draft picks, but also we're going to see some winning seasons too. And then number 2 is payroll, and payroll comes into effect as Bloom would do cheap contracts, younger players on smaller deals, meaning he has more room to find more talent and doesn't have to go over that cap, while Dombrowski has the complete opposite, going over the cap, big payroll for a big market team, meaning aging players on big contracts that can contribute to championship winning teams. And then the third is the farm, or the pipeline, the prospects, the backbone to your team. You need them. Bloom wants as many as possible, which is as much talent as possible, because he knows the math. At least a few of them will be really good on cheap contracts, while Dombrowski prioritizes selling the farm, getting rid of all of it to buy now for aging stars who can contribute to a World Series. And so as fans, we ask, are the Red Sox doomed? Can we come back? These recent seasons, 2020, 2022, super disappointing for really ambitious fans in Boston. And so the first variable of Bloom Ball I'll be going over is wins. And you can see the Red Sox red and the Rays in blue. And I have a little Chaim tracker, I'll trademark that too, which follows where Chaim was and when he switched over between the front offices. And disclaimer, 2020 I did not include in any of my graphs because everything throws off that year. You don't want just a random outlier in your data. And at the start, we're going to follow Chaim first. So with the Rays, with wins, 80-win seasons, low wins, and then you can see around 2016, right, his second year in the program as the president of baseball operations, the wins climb 70, 80, 90, and then 100 wins 2019. And then that's when he switches. The Red Sox were coming off Dombrowski with 2018 108 wins, success in the World Series, winning the entire thing against the Dodgers. And then 2019, a big down year. And then they went for Chaim in 2021 for his first full season. And you can see it's a steady decline for the Red Sox in wins. And that, as I mentioned earlier, part of the variables, Dombrowski prioritizes winning over Chaim. But you can tell here that Dombrowski did have much more success, much more regular season winning, more World Series rings. Chaim still was on that upward slope, and he was trending upwards and above the Red Sox by the time he took over. So, in this category, I would say you can't rule out Chaim because he still is. It looks promising for the team. The Rays have had a ton of success the last 4 or 5 years under Chaim, and they even made a World Series too. They didn't win it, but they are trending upwards for sure. So now the second variable is the payroll, and using the Chaim Tracker 3000 patented by me, you can see clear differences in the payroll here. And so the left side is obviously in millions of dollars for the payroll, although $80 for the Rays would not be too surprising. That's around bottom of the league every single year under Bloom. And you can see that he had no plans to go upward, but once he did leave the Rays, you can see a considerable $20 million spike in the Rays payroll. However, looking all the way up to that Red Sox line, you can see a considerable jump between the teams. In the same division, so keep that in mind, the Red Sox under Dombrowski are well over the $200 million mark their entire time, and you can see where he buys in to win that ring. And then 2019 expiring contracts, and then by the time 2021 rolled around, he had to dump a lot of money, and the farm was still bad, and the team was bad. But 2021 was a good year, but you can see that's when Chaim hopped over to the Red Sox. And the payroll, after a full season, 2022, now 2023, it's cheaper. And it will be interesting to see if that will trend in a downward direction, or if Chaim will adopt the Boston spending methods left by Dombrowski. And although I did fail my math class and drop it this year, I can still count to 3. This is the third variable. And the farm ranking, something important to me I like to keep track of, but it's a general ranking of their pipelines, or if you don't know, their minor league players pretty much. It's their young guys they draft, they trade for, and how they do in their rankings over the course of the teams compared across the league. And once again, I will start with Bloom on the Rays. When he took over, bad farm system, an aging team led by Longoria. They had a little bit of success like 2012, 2013, and then by the time he got there, it was a bad team with a bad pipeline. However, after 1 year, he went from 24 to 11, which is already impressive. And then a slight decrease, but then boom, the Rays pipeline became notable across the league. All the teams knew about how good their farm system was. They became one of the best in the league. But to continue with the Rays and not with Bloom, you can see he brought single-handedly, you have to credit him with their pipeline success, and that could even contribute to their MLB success. But you can see a huge spike upward towards the number 1 ranking. And then once Bloom did leave and join the Red Sox, you can see the gap narrows. The Red Sox go up and the Rays are trending down. So now I'll start over with the Red Sox. Good farm system. And then obviously that developed into winning a World Series. But you can obviously tell our farm system 2019 turned to one of the worst in the league. That was a dark period in time. Michael Chavis and Bobby Dahlbeck might have been the top 2, which is sad to say the least considering where they are now. But Bloom hops over 2021, an instant rebound for the farm system. It is without a doubt, you cannot argue it. The Red Sox farm has improved leaps and bounds. It's not even a question anymore that Bloom's system, a Bloom ball, is taking effect, but is it working? Because obviously Bloom ball does work with the Rays. We've seen it on a smaller market team, but this will all come down to a big market team in Boston, high expectations, and how long he can reverse Dombrowski's regime and how long it will take to implement his own system. Because you can tell by the graphs that our farm is already way better. However, our wins are down from Dombrowski. It's just a fact. And you can see right here, our three of our top 5 prospects, the year Bloom takes over from Dombrowski. Bobby Dahlbeck, and I have updated photos, now is wearing goggles for Worcester at shortstop. Gilberto Jimenez, although not doing terrible, he's still stuck. I think he's in high A now, but still stuck in the minors after 3 years now. And then Jay Groom, traded to the Padres, really still stuck in the minors, not improving too much. And now here's an instant reminder of Bloom's system. You can see on the right side compared to the left, you have Cedon Rafaelo, Marcelo Myers, Tristan Casas, and Miguel Bleis. All four of those guys, super hyped up prospects. All of them are good without a doubt. Casas is already on the team making plays, and the three other guys are their ETAs in the next 2 or 3 years. Meyer just got drafted with a top spot, which is showing exactly how Bloom ball works. You get those top spots, bad seasons happen, and you pick your talent well. The scouts for Boston have to have improved under Bloom. Our entire pipeline is just way better. I've been lucky enough to attend multiple Sea Dogs games. I live close to the Portland area, and Raphael has been amazing. Hamilton has been amazing. All those guys, the Sea Dogs look amazing. Growing up under Dombrowski, they were a ghost of a team. I remember going to a AA game like halfway through the year, and they were 30 games back. It was atrocious. It was embarrassing to watch. But now everyone's proud of the team, and the prospects are amazing. Bleis is super hyped up. He got a big payday when he was just 16 on his birthday to come to the Sox, I believe. He's been amazing. Raphael is one of the most exciting, athletic, defensive players in the league. He can play short or center field, and I'll be excited to see if he can make it to the Red Sox. And then Meyer, one of the most exciting prospects for the shortstop position. And Casas is already proving why he's good enough to the team. But this breaks down the question I asked at the start of the video. Is Bloom ball worth it? How long will it take? And in my opinion, going over these graphs, I'm going to keep these guys on screen as a reminder. Bloom ball is worth it, and it will be worth it. And here's why. The first thing to think about is the huge roster turnover. As Dombrowski left, 2018 fell apart. Mookie's gone. JD Martinez is gone. Almost the entire rotation besides Sale is gone. Xander's gone. So many guys are gone from that team. It's not even the same team. But Bloom took over. The pipeline went from the worst in the league to one of the top 10 pipelines in the entire league. So that's the first variable. Check. And then looking at wins. The second variable, Dombrowski did have a lot of good wins. 108 wins is impressive no matter who you are or what you think. But Bloom has had playoff success with the Sox, and I think the roster looks good this year. I'll say it. I think we can be good, but you'll see where I stand on that soon. But the third variable is the payroll. He's in Boston. A lot of the complaints from fans was that he's going to have a Tampa Bay Rays payroll. Sox aren't going to want to pay anyone, and we've seen it. Mookie left, Xander left, JD Martinez left, Evaldi left. So many of our stars want that big bag somewhere else. Xander got it, and he's been great so far. But he's picking his battles. He doesn't want to overpay these aging superstars. He's going with the young guns, and as much as I'm a Xander, and trust me, I do, I support Bloom and what he's doing for the team. So that being said, that is why I think Bloom ball and Chaim Bloom will be worth it for the Sox. However, it will take time. It will take a few years, and I will go over my 2023 predictions. This is what I think the AL East will look like. It's going to be a tough year. I'm still a believer in Bloom. I love this team, but it is such a stacked AL East. Yankees, they're whatever. Same team as last year, if not worse. Blue Jays look really good. Young team. Manoah looks great. They're going to be a great contender. And the Rays are going to be good. One way or another, they have a ton of young talent from Bloom that's paying off now. Lucky to be them. And then I have us at 84 and 78. And if you can tell, that's only 9 games back from the Yankees with 93. I think it pains me to put them at the top, but I don't want to talk about that anymore. But it's going to be a close division. The Orioles are not bad at all. Most of my life growing up, Orioles are a 50-win team. And they're much improved. I think their rebuild started last year, but it will continue into this year. I don't think they're a playoff team yet, but they have a young team that we have to look forward to in the future. Because we can't have 5 playoff teams in the AL East. Someone has to suck. This year it will be them. Next year it might be us. Who knows? Next 10 years after that, it will be the Yankees, but that is just another thing that's going to happen. But I think 84 wins for us. Could be close to the Rays, could be close to the Orioles, but all in all, I just don't think our pitching and our bullpen has it. We've seen it with Matt Barnes and our bullpen in the past where just kind of flounders out. It kind of loses it near the end. I don't think we really have that edge this year to be a 90-win team, but I don't think we're going to suck. And now here's my official postseason predictions. And as you can tell, this is obviously the 2023 bracket with their logos. No Photoshop was done there at all. But starting with the AL, obviously the Red Sox are missing. I just don't think they're good enough. The Rays also, I think we're missing. There's too many teams in the AL East. But I think our wild card teams are going to be Blue Jays, Rangers, Guardians, Twins. Twins look good again, kind of retooled, rebuilt, but under Buxton, I think they're good. Guardians, young team. Stephen Kwan, J Ram still, they have a great roster. Blue Jays, obviously, already talked about. And Rangers with their rebuild. I think it's going to pay off this year. Last year they were bad. I think it will come into effect this year. But ALDS, I have Blue Jays, Yankees, Guardians, Astros. I think the Astros are just too good. So much talent. I think they will beat the Guardians pretty easily. And then Yankees, Blue Jays. Under this channel, I won't have the Yankees winning a series. So the Yankees will choke as they do, lose to the Blue Jays. And then Blue Jays, Astros, ALCS. I'm giving it to the Astros once again. Too much talent still. So many young guys. Just all-around team that retools every single year and never has to rebuild. And then moving to the NL. Padres, absurd roster. Machado, Xander, Tatis, Soto. There's so much talent on that team, so I can't see him losing. The Mets did lose a little bit. People think the Mets are going to be amazing, but without DeGrom, who can pitch 5 times a year, without these guys, I don't think they have that edge anymore. And then Phillies also, I don't think have that edge, but still a good team. Cardinals, I think, are a slept-on team. However, I don't think they'll beat the Dodgers. And then Braves are too good. I think Padres, they've had such a good roster, but just can't really win those like divisional series. So I have the Braves versus Dodgers, where I think the Braves will take it. This lineup fucks, as Jared Carabas would say. It is, oh my god, 1-9, the best in the league. Even missing Dansby, even missing these guys, it is so good. So many young guys. Mike Harris is amazing. All these guys are filling the gaps. They're going to be good. And then Astros Braves World Series, I'm going to give it to the Braves. A little repetitive for the teams we see recently, but these guys are super teams, no matter how you want to view it. So I think the Braves are just too good, but that could go either way in the World Series. And that concludes the video on if Chaim Bloom is worth it, and if the Red Sox can recover and be a legit playoff team in 2023. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and comment anything down below. I love to talk to you guys. If you like what I say, if you hate what I say, if you're a Yankees fan and you hate me. Either way, just make sure to like if you like the video, comment down below if you have anything to say, or make sure to subscribe and do what you're told.